In today's video I want to show you my attempt at breeding yellow honey gouramis. This is going to be a challenge to me because I've never bred gouramis before. Watched a couple of YouTube channels and how they bred their gouramis, so this is going to be, like I say, a bit of a challenge. I'll place the two gouramis into a breeding tank and you will see that the breeding tank will change over the course of the days as I try to move things around and try to get these fish breeding. Here's a picture of the two gouramis after I took them out of the breeding tank and show you the difference between the male and the female. The male is normally more colourful than the female, and as you can see from the male in this photo, the underside of the male becomes black during breeding. The male also has longer fins with a pointed dorsal fin and extended anal fin rays. Okay, let's get back to the video. When I bought these two gouramis, I wanted to buy some floating plant at the same time, but my local shop didn't have any floating plant, so I got a bit of plant from my 4-foot tank and put it into this tank until I can get my hands on some floating plants. At first I had the water right up to the top. Then I found some information and said it's best to have the water level lower in the tank, so I lowered it to go just above the tube on my air filter. I'll pan back now with my camera to show you my two breeding tanks next to each other. The gouramis on the left, you can see the water level is lower, and in the tank on the right you'll see my green neon rasboras, which I'm hoping will breed again. While we got this view of the two tanks, I'd like you to take note of the two tubs I've got in the fish tank with the plants in. I thought this would be a good idea of putting the plant into these tubs. Not only will it grow my cuttings for my other tanks, but also give the fish somewhere to swim around and hopefully encourage them to breed. This ended up not being a very good idea, and I won't be doing this again in the future. One of the main reasons for this is that once the fish have bred and then you want to get the parent fish out, it's very hard to catch them because they go hiding between the tubs and the sides of the tank and the other decoy you might have in the breeding tank. So it's best to keep as less in that tank as possible. So in the future, which you may see if you look at my rasboras video in the future, which hopefully will be coming soon after this one, is that I used some plant weights to bunch the plants together, and this makes it much more easier to, if you need to, just take the plants out of the tank and you'll be able to catch those fish much easier. This is how the tank finished up. You can see that the water level has now been lowered. I lowered that water level to 8 inches. To do this, I had to cut the air tube on the air filter. You can see it more clearly on the tank on the right because I've done it to that tank as well. And you can also see, like an idiot, I put 3 tubs with the plants in the tank. My advice is, don't do anything like this. Now let's get on to the interesting part, the fish. As you can see, I've now got floating plants, and I've also got a piece of bubble wrap. That was some advice I received in my local shop, since such breeders use bubble wrap as well as floating plants for gouramis. So I thought, okay, I'll give that a go as well. The male started to create his bubble nest and he started to get the dark underside on his body, which they get when they're ready to breed. The female would then approach the male would then wrap his body around her, and what was supposed to happen then was that the female would release the eggs, the male would fertilise the eggs, and then the male would release the female, gather up the eggs and place them into the bubble nest. I didn't observe any eggs being released by the female gourami. What would happen is once the male had released her, he would then chase her away, then come back, start building this nest again, or repairing the nest. The female would then repeat this over and over again of coming to the male, being chased away by the male. And this continued for a couple of days. The male could get quite aggressive at times, and there was a couple of times when I thought, should I take this female out of the tank? So I obviously did not want the female to get hurt and get stressed out. I observed this behaviour for a couple of days. Then, one morning I came down and I saw the female was hiding between the two tubs I had which had the plants in. And the female did not look very happy. So I decided to get a net and get the female out. Just as I was about to get the female out, I noticed a slight movement just by the female, and it was a baby fry. So I decided to get the male and the female out as quick as possible so the fry wouldn't get eaten. Now apparently you're supposed to take the female out of the breeding tank once she has finished releasing all her eggs. And you leave the male in there for a couple of days because the male looks after the bubble nest and does any repairs that the nest may need. But as I've already said, I didn't observe any eggs being released. As I've already mentioned, it wasn't easy catching the two fish, and also I may have disturbed some of the bubble nests while I was getting those two fish out. Again, my inexperience is probably the main reason why this happened, and the reason why I didn't get many fry. So here we are, day one, and hopefully you can just see the fry there, just starting to move around on the right hand side of the picture there. I managed to count 7 fry in the tank, and I put in some infusoria straight in the tank, and if you watch carefully you will see the baby fry eating some of the infusoria. This is day 11, and you can see they've grown quite a bit, and they're now starting to eat baby brine shrimp. I have also been feeding them microworms. One thing I forgot to mention at the start of the video, as I always do, I always have some shrimp in the tank. Helps clean the tank up, and also not so much I don't think with the gouramis, but with any other fish, they also help to get rid of any eggs that may have fungus on them. They will eat the fungus eggs, but they will not touch but clean the healthy eggs. Here we are now at 30 days old, and as you can see, they're now starting to look like gouramis. And I'm still feeding them with brine shrimp and some microworms. Here you can see I've given them a nice load of brine shrimp here. And you also may notice that there's not so much plant in here now, because I've taken 2 of those tubs out. I've got one left in there which has got a couple of plants in, which I will wait until I've moved these fish onto another tank. And when I clean the tank out for my next project, I'll take that tub out. Well, thanks for watching my first attempt at trying to breed gouramis. I know I wasn't that successful in getting a lot of fry. I enjoyed the challenge. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully see you soon in my next video.